I want us to consider the church before a watching world. One of our former devotions, we discussed John 13:34, that a watching world ought to see a loving body of believers, emulating the love of Christ one toward another. I want to consider today John 17, verse 17, sometimes difficult to understand. Hopefully you can have some enlightenment. Listen to what it says. Sanctify them, and this is Christ praying for his disciples, sanctify them in the truth. Your word is truth. Then he says, as you sent me into the world, I also have sent them into the world. For their sakes I sanctify myself, that they may themselves also be sanctified in truth. This word sanctified is a hard word to sometimes get the exact meaning. It means set apart, used of holiness, same meaning, to be pure, to be set apart from the secular, set apart for sacred. And here, as Christ says to them and prays to the Father, set these men apart, just like you, Father, have set me apart. So the primary emphasis does not seem to be as much on purity. Since Christ was sanctified, how do you sanctify perfection? How do you make the perfect Son of God any purer than he was? But he was sanctified in this sense. He was set aside for the divine mission of coming to make God known. He was on a mission, and his mission was to obey the Father, do his will, seek the lost. And as you read through the gospel narratives, he was on a divine mission. And he's saying, Father, help these men to stay on a divine mission, even as I have been sent on a divine mission. It's not enough that they move to a monastery and get pure, as it were. That's what the early church did. Many of them did after the 3rd century. But that's not the sanctification he's talking about. This is, am I dedicated, devoted, and surrendered to the mission God has for me in the world? Christ is going to give these men a great commission. Go into all the world, make the gospel known, disciple, baptize. Acts 1:8, I'll send you the Spirit, be my witnesses into all the world. The question for the believer to ask ourselves, are we on mission? Are we on target? Or are we all about ourselves? Are we dedicated to the purposes of God as revealed in Christ? And what did he come? For himself? No. Came to please the Father, came to seek sinners, came to be a sacrifice for a hostile world. Oh, believer, what mission, what purpose are you pursuing that is the will of God? I see saints all the time either seeking retirement in the American sense, which means I'm now no longer employed. But what are you doing besides that? As long as you have breath, you ought to be on mission. It's not just fun and games and recreation. That's fine to have some of that. But are you making Christ known? Are you doing the will of God? What are you doing that's on purpose? It hurts me when I see beloved people that I know. It seems they're still alive, but they no longer have mission. As a young man, I used to always pray about 3 M's for my ministry. I would pray that God would keep me straight on morals. I wanted to be pure. I was a teenage youth speaker, and so I would pray about my moral life. And then I would pray about my motives. Why am I speaking? Am I doing this out of pride? Am I all stuck on myself? I would pray, give me the right motives. And then I would pray about money. I did not want to ever preach the gospel for money. I wanted to be straight in that. And so I prayed about that even as a teenager. When I came into my 40s, and after being in the ministry for 20 years, I was plateauing and struggling for what do I do next? And as I prayed in those early days of my 40s, I met with Howard Hendricks once, and we were talking about goal and focus. And out of that, I began to pray, Lord, don't let me lose my mission. Many men become bored with ministry as they get older. They quit studying. They quit praying. They quit reading other books. They're just coasting. They're coasting. As Hendricks used to say, they begin to slide towards home plate. No more venture, no more faith, no more reaching out. They've lost their mission. Father, sanctify these men. Set them apart for sacred use. Don't let them go back to the fishing business. Don't let them go back to tax collecting. Don't let them go back. I've called them. I've trained them. Please sanctify them so they finish their race, having done the mission I set them aside to do. I ask you, are you fulfilling the mission God has given you? Are you fulfilling the purpose God has designed for you? Share Christ, make him known, but don't abandon the mission. This world is on fire. We're desperately in need of people living on mission. May God bless you and keep you.